Raider Nation, this week for the Raiders is on fire. First, the defense finally showed real identity against the Titans, dominating from start to finish. Then came a roster move with a familiar face returning home and changes behind the scenes. But it doesn't stop there. There's a bold draft projection, a total must-win vibe against the Chiefs, and some heavy trade rumors heating up. Raiders fans, hang tight because the last one will blow your mind. But before diving into every detail of this breakdown, real quick, let me tell you something. Hit that subscribe button. It's free, costs you nothing, and helps keep this fan-driven talk alive. Drop a like too, because it helps YouTube spread this conversation to even more members of Raider Nation, and jump in the comments because this space belongs to everyone who lives and breathes the Raiders. If there's one thing that reignited pride across Raider Nation, it was watching this defense earn some serious respect against the Titans. Honestly, we'd been waiting for a performance like that for weeks. Pressure, energy, and finally, a unit that controls the game. Against Tennessee, they played angry, with purpose, perfectly reflecting what Patrick Graham's been trying to build since the start of the season. The defensive coordinator is one of the few holdovers through years of coaching and roster changes, and now it looks like his consistency is paying off. Even with a wave of new faces, the system's starting to click. The result? A complete show. 5 or 6 sacks, depending on who you ask, takeaways, and total dominance in the trenches. Carroll came out of the game praising every detail of the defense, and it wasn't just coach speak. He talked about clean execution, perfect containment, and tactical discipline. He said this was exactly how they've been preaching to play, and it finally came together. Honestly, it's been a while since I've seen him this satisfied with his defense. And the standout? Max was double-teamed all game and still finished with 2 sacks. Straight up monster. But the real surprise came from the linebacker stepping up into Wilkins' leadership role. A pick, a forced fumble, and nearly 10 tackles. That kind of stat line changes the whole energy of a locker room. Carroll said this game was the blueprint moving forward. Contain the deep ball, stay disciplined, play aggressive. Sounds simple, but for anyone who's watched this team long enough, it feels like a real culture shift. And that's what fires you up. This wasn't luck, it was structure. The defense has identity now, and when that happens, the offense can finally breathe. That win over the Titans might just be another mark in the standings, but the way it happened changed the vibe completely. You can feel that the guys are buying in. Now the question is, was that consistency real or just a spark? Drop a comment if you believe this defense has truly become the backbone of this team, because the next one's going to test every bit of it. You know that story of the player who never really left the fans' hearts. Well, McClendon Curtis is back home in Vegas, and honestly, this move might look minor, but it carries a ton of meaning. After that win over the Titans, nobody in this building wants to lose focus, especially with the Chiefs up next. The offense is still trying to find its rhythm, and everyone knows the O-line has been a headache. Carroll and Spytek get it. There's no magic fix, but bringing back a guy who already knows the system and locker room is a smart move. Curtis was one of the most promising UDFAs from 2023, remember? But Seattle poached him, and since then he's been bouncing around looking for stability. Now he's back in Vegas with a chip on his shoulder. To make room, the Raiders released punter Brad Robbins, who had only been added because of concerns over A.J. Cole's health. The upside? That likely means the All-Pro is healthy again, freeing a spot for a real need. The interior offensive line. Carroll spoke honestly about the group. Life without Colton Miller isn't easy, and the backup's still in progress. He said, Stone's been grinding, he's smart, but the pressure's not letting up. And he's right. Against the Titans, they held strong in the second half and didn't allow a single sack. That's progress. Carroll also praised center Jordan Meredith, who's learning on the fly. He's solid. Sometimes he faces absolute monsters, but he's holding his own. Translation, it's a project, but the staff believes. To be real with you, it feels like the coaches are trying to build patience through the chaos. They know it won't be fixed overnight, but they want guys who understand the culture. Curtis fits that mold. This isn't a flashy signing, but it's the kind of move that keeps a team steady. What do you think, Raider Nation? Does Curtis get a real shot at the active roster, or will he just hang around the bubble? Drop your thoughts, because next up we're talking about a bold prediction for the future of this defense. There's still a wound that hasn't healed in Vegas, and losing Christian Wilkins. That move hit deep, no question. The guy was the heartbeat of the D-line, the tone setter, but it looks like the plan for the future is already taking shape. And it's a big one. According to CBS Sports' latest mock draft, the Raiders are projected to take Clemson defensive tackle Peter Woods with the 4th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. A 6'3", 310-pound monster with elite run defense skills and major upside, and honestly, it makes total sense. This defense needs someone who can take some of the load off Max Crosby and bring real balance to the front. Analyst Josh Edwards said it bluntly, "The Raiders' moves haven't made long-term sense, but Woods is one of the few players who could fix that." Hard to argue. The team traded for an older QB, drafted a running back early, and is still chasing an identity. Woods could flip the script. Sure, some fans will say go quarterback, but if Geno Smith can stabilize the offense, this pick makes perfect sense. Meanwhile, Jonah Laulu, the local kid, is starting to turn heads. He's tied with Crosby for the team lead in sacks at 4, and that's coming from the interior. That's serious growth. I'm not totally sure Woods would be the perfect fit, because draft talk is always a gamble, but seeing the front office think beyond short-term fixes is encouraging. And with guys like Laulu stepping up now, maybe the foundation's already forming. So what do you think, Raider Nation? Has the defense of the future already begun, or is this mock draft just smoke to calm the fans? Stick around, because next up we're talking about a straight-up survival game in Kansas City. It's do or die now. The Raiders sit at 2-4 heading into Week 7, and there's no easing up. It's the Chiefs in Arrowhead, the loudest stadium in football. You either win now or start slipping out of relevance. That Titans win was nice, but nobody's fooled. This team still has to prove it can string together consistent football, and there's no better test than going up against the most dominant team in the AFC. Carroll's message was clear: this week has to be perfect. The plan is simple: contain the Chiefs' explosive offense, create turnovers, and protect the ball at all costs. The problem? Geno Smith is struggling through one of the roughest stretches of his career, and the margin for error is gone. This is the kind of game that shows who's still fighting and who's checked out. The locker room feels it. Veterans are demanding accountability. Young guys are hungry, and Carroll's trying to balance fire with focus. The defense is rolling, and it'll have to lead again. If they bring that same energy as they did versus the Titans, they'll have a real shot, but the offense needs to rise too. No more hoping for miracle plays. It's about control, precision, execution. The good news? There's confidence quietly building. You can feel it. And that's when the Raiders are most dangerous. When no one believes, that's when they love to prove people wrong. Just win, baby, has never fit better. A win in Kansas City wouldn't just save the season, it'd restore pride, belief, and fire. So tell me, Raider Nation, does this team still have enough fight to turn it around, or is it time to start thinking ahead to 2026? Because what comes next could change everything. After all the chaos, one win always brings relief, but does it really change anything? Sure, the Raiders beat the Titans and gave fans something to smile about, but deep down, we all know the problems run deeper. At 2-4, still sitting last in the AFC West, the road ahead looks rough. The defense keeps showing up, but the offense still can't find rhythm. Geno Smith's been inconsistent, and with what's coming, Chiefs bye, Jaguars, Broncos, Cowboys, Browns, it's make or break. The Titans win was progress, but it could easily be a trap. The front office can't get complacent. They've got to evaluate with clear eyes and think beyond 2025. The trade deadline's November 4, and the rumors are already heating up. The wide receiver who asked out before the season, still producing, still wants a new deal, and moving him makes sense. Then there's the veteran linebacker thriving in a hybrid safety role. His stock's higher than ever. Pro Football Focus's Bradley Locker says the Raiders should sell, that it's time to lean into the rebuild. And honestly, he's right. The young talent needs reps, not bench time behind vets on expiring deals. These next few weeks will decide everything. Win 2 of 3, and maybe the front office rethinks things. But if they fall apart again, it's time to turn the page and focus on 2026. It's harsh, but it's real. So tell me, Raider Nation, do you sell now to rebuild faster or roll the dice on a miracle run? Drop your thoughts below, because what's coming next could shake up the entire fan base. After everything, you can feel it. This team's at a crossroads. The defense finally looks legit, the offense is still searching for identity, and the front office seems torn between belief and rebuild. Whatever comes next, one truth remains. Raider Nation doesn't do halfway. You fight or you start over. Just win, baby. That's always been the creed. So sound off in the comments, because this space belongs to everyone who lives for the silver and black. And stay tuned, because every time you think you've seen it all, these Raiders find a new way to shock the world.